English 121, Day 26. Drafting an Argument, Part 2. From the Allen and Bacon Guide, pages 355 to 357 and 492. As with any writing project, begin your argumentative writing by planning. Begin your planning process by analyzing your intended audience. If you are working with a general readership, try to imagine from the start, as specifically as possible, what kinds of readers you particularly want to sway. For example, if you're trying to enact a particular part of public policy, you might be writing for Congress or a state legislature as your more specific audience. When analyzing your audience, ask yourself, how much does your audience know or care about the issue you are writing about? And what is your audience's current attitude toward the issue? Also ask yourself, how do your audience's values, assumptions, and beliefs differ from your own, as well as what values, beliefs, or assumptions about the world you and your audience might share? It's important to understand where you and your audience agree and disagree, so that you can find common ground and make your argument as convincing as possible. Once you have analyzed your audience, the next step is to plan an audience-based argument by seeking audience-based reasons. These are reasons whose underlying assumptions you can defend. Once you've articulated your particular reasons, for example, using the expense of something or overcoming the expensiveness of something, go ahead and create an outline of your argument, stating your reasons as because clauses attached to your central claim. Remember the argument structure. You'll need to link all your evidence to a particular point, and then link all the points to your overall claim. Once you have your outline, go ahead and plan each line of reasoning, concentrating on supporting each reason with evidence and arguing for the underlying assumptions behind each. Be sure to organize each reason into its own paragraph and separate all your reasons from the other paragraphs in the essay. You'll also need to anticipate audience objections by exploring ways that an audience might question either your reasons or your underlying assumptions, or both. Then, using the outline you created, go ahead and finish developing the rest of the argument. Use the schema on pages 343 to 347 on the Allen and Bacon Guide to help you organize your argument. When you're organizing your argument, decide how you want to order the reasons and the counter-arguments. You have a lot of options, but overall, you'll need to remember to put your strongest reason last and your second strongest reason first, unless there's a logical reason for doing otherwise. Logical connections between your reasons will always trump this rule. First of all, decide how to organize counter-arguments. You can handle opposing positions before you present your own argument, or you can present them after your own argument. The other option is to intersperse opposing views throughout your argument at appropriate moments. If any counter-argument relates directly to one of your points, you'll want to go ahead and discuss it at that time. Overall, if you imagine a skeptical audience, build bridges to that audience by summarizing alternative views early and concede to those that are especially strong. If an argument is very strong or widely held, it works to just go ahead and get it out of the way right up front. On the other hand, if your audience is neutral or undecided, summarize and respond to possible objections after you have presented your own case. Also remember that your paragraphs need to be logical and connected. Academic writing requires unity and coherence. You can see this in figure 18.1 in the Allen and Bacon Guide. Unity is the relationship between each part of an essay and the larger whole. meaning every paragraph connects. Coherence, on the other hand, is the relationship between adjacent sentences, paragraphs, and parts, so within the paragraph itself. Here are some strategies for writing with unity, coherence, and emphasis. Be sure to stick to your chosen thesis, repeat key words, use transitions, and express important ideas in varying grammatical structures. Academic writing also requires that you put older information before new information. New material is meaningful to a reader only if it is linked to old material that is already meaningful. This is why we use a thesis at the beginning to preview the points to come, because the audience will have heard of it before. The principle of old before new helps writers establish the main structural frame and ordering of an argument. An argument frame derives from the writer's purpose to change some aspect of the reader's view of the topic. The reader's view of the topic is the common, expected, or ordinary view. It's the old, familiar material that the reader has before hearing the argument. Then, the writer's surprising view constitutes a new, unfamiliar position or material. This moves readers from their original view to the writer's new and different view. Most sentences in your essay should contain both an old element and a new element. Academic readers also expect writers to forecast what's coming and then fulfill those forecasts. You cannot make a promise in your writing if you're not going to follow through. Readers expect to be able to predict what's coming as well as a fulfillment of those predictions. This means that you need to have an effective title and introduction. It means that if you include a point in your thesis, you had better devote a paragraph to it later in the essay. Also, be sure to put key points at the beginnings of your paragraphs and use effective transitions and mapping statements. If your genre calls for it, use effective subheadings and headings, but you won't need to do that for this essay. Also, start and end with a big picture and refer to that big picture at key transition points. Follow these strategies and you'll be sure to draft an effective argument.